I'm Melissa Dewis with Bernama News. Welcome. We begin with foreign updates. In a striking reversal, U.S. President Donald Trump has asked trade officials to explore the possibility of the United States rejoining the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, a free trade deal he pulled out of during his first days in office as part of his America First agenda. Senators said Trump made the commitment while meeting politicians from farming states who are among those concerned about a trade war. The president has previously slammed the deal as a potential disaster. Farm state lawmakers say Trump asked top administration officials to look into rejoining talks during a White House meeting on trade and agriculture Thursday. Kansas Senator Pat Roberts said during the meeting, Trump said he had assigned U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow to look into the U.S. rejoining the TPP.
The one thing that he did say that I was very impressed with, that he has assigned Larry Kudlow and Bob Lighthizer the task to see if we couldn't take another look at TPP. And that certainly would be good news all throughout farm country. And so working with those two gentlemen, and they'll be in touch with the committee members both in the House and the Senate, that is certainly good news.
Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse reiterated those remarks, saying Trump reaffirmed the point that TPP might be easier for the U.S. to join now and urged Kudlow to get it done. The apparent decision comes after the 11 other TPP countries went ahead last month and signed the pact in Santiago, Chile, without the United States. The agreement is meant to establish freer trade in the Asia-Pacific region and put pressure on China to open its markets to compete with and perhaps eventually join the bloc. Meanwhile, Donald Trump gathered workers from around the U.S. to help show the benefits that are being seen from the tax cut plan recently passed. The massive Republican tax cut legislation was muscled through Congress late last year and now stands as President Trump's marquee achievement.
We're cutting record numbers of regulations. We've cut more regulations in a year and a quarter than any administration, whether it's 4 years, 8 years, or in one case, 16 years. Another great announcement to share with you as well. Today I will sign a presidential memorandum directing the EPA to cut even more red tape on our manufacturers.
It took effect January 1st, billed as a huge boon for the stressed middle class and a key GOP selling point in the midterm elections this year. The $1.5 trillion package provides generous tax cuts for corporations and the wealthiest Americans, and more modest reductions for middle and low-income individuals and families. The tax cuts for corporations are permanent, while those for individuals and families expire in 2026. Non-partisan tax experts project that the law will bring lower taxes for the great majority of Americans, though not all. Already taxpayers have seen a tangible result of the new tax law. Millions of working Americans saw bigger paychecks starting early in the year. The head of the Swedish Academy that awards the Nobel Prize in Literature has resigned following an internal crisis at the prestigious institution. Sara Danius announced her decision on Thursday after a 3-hour meeting of Academy members in central Stockholm. Danius said she had lost the confidence of the Academy but would not comment on whether a vote was held to remove her. The crisis started last week after 3 male members decided over a secret vote not to remove a female colleague whose husband is embroiled in sexual misconduct allegations. Danius, a 56-year-old Swedish literature historian, said the turmoil at the Academy has already affected the Nobel Prize quite severely. The Nobel Foundation board sharply criticized the Swedish Academy on Wednesday, saying the group was threatening to tarnish the reputation of the Nobel Prize. Brazilian presidential candidate Guilherme Boulos called for international support on Thursday, denouncing the arrest of former Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva as a threat to democracy. Boulos said in Lisbon, Portugal, that Lula was a political prisoner and that Judge Sergio Moro cared more about politics than justice. Brazilian, Spanish and Portuguese left-wing politicians attended a conference to discuss democracy in Brazil in the wake of the jailing of Lula. Speakers included the head of Spain's Podemos party, Pablo Iglesias, and Catarina Martins from Portugal's left bloc. Lula was the main candidate of the left-wing Workers' Party in Brazil, but the former Brazilian president woke up in jail on Sunday. He is the latest high-profile Brazilian to be ensnared in the car wash investigation, which has seen several of the country's political and business elite arrested over the last 4 years. He is also leading preference polls ahead of October's presidential election. Meanwhile, friends and relatives attended a funeral ceremony on Thursday for one of the victims of a military plane crash in Algeria, in which 257 people were killed. As the identification process continued, the body of 27-year-old Ramzi Arbawi arrived at his family's home in Bufarik in a flag-draped coffin on Thursday. According to relatives, Ramzi was supposed to finish his military service next month. The plane went down in a field just outside a military base in Bufarik, 30 kilometers south of the capital Algiers, and was devoured by flames, killing 247 passengers and 10 crew members. Algerian officials have not said if flight data recorders have been recovered from the wreckage, how many people were on the plane, or whether anyone survived. Meanwhile, a minute of silence was held on Thursday at Algiers' Houari Boumediene Airport for victims of the plane crash. President Abdelaziz Bouteflika ordered 3 days of mourning in Algeria and special prayers at all mosques on Friday, the Muslim holy day.
Setiap undi amat berharga.
Kami menjadi mata dan suara anda.
Dari segenap penjuru, 24 jam.
Laporan secara terus, terkini dan menyeluruh.
Jangan sia-siakan hak anda.
Anda penentunya.
Listen to views of industry captains. Analyze and examine trends and projections. Gain market insights from subject matter experts. BizTalk every Friday, 8:30 p.m. only on BNC.
You're watching Bernama News. Welcome back. Bursa Malaysia opened lower this morning, reversing yesterday's gains and dampened by profit-taking ahead of the weekend. This dealer was despite the positive overnight performance of Wall Street. At 9:05 a.m., the benchmark FBMK LCI was 6.31 points weaker at 1,867.31 from Thursday's closing of 1,873.62. The index opened 6.42 points lower at 1,867.29. Gainers outnumbered losers 186 to 70, while 119 counters were unchanged, 1,519 untraded, and 23 others suspended. Volume stood at 1.63 million units, valued at 48.04 million ringgit. Meanwhile, the ringgit opened lower against the US dollar in line with emerging Asian currencies and on concerns over geopolitical tensions in Syria. At 9 a.m., the ringgit was quoted at 3.8780 compared with Thursday's 3.8750. A dealer said US President Donald Trump's warning of imminent military action in Syria prompted investors worldwide to sell riskier assets. He added that with global equity markets likely to remain sour as investors move from trade war concerns to geopolitical fears, risk appetite would remain fragile and dent regional currency sentiment in turn. The ringgit, however, traded mixed against a basket of major currencies. In other news, Malaysia's oil palm industry is experiencing the start of a new era in harvesting with King Oya Enterprise Centre and Berhad, King Oya Green Electric Cutter ICUT. ICUT is economically maintained with a rechargeable and a sufficient battery life up to 5 hours or one harvesting session. King Oya's chairman Datuk Nazifuddin Datuk Seri Najib said, by launching ICUT, it helps in reducing labour dependency and increases the productivity.
Produk yang kita launch hari ini adalah nama ICUT, Electronic Cutting System. So produk ni memang tak ada emission gas atau apa-apa sebab kita guna bateri. So bateri kita charge pun lithium battery. So tak ada pollution atau apa-apa yang boleh menjadi contamination untuk plantation yang di luar.
Apart from environmentally friendly, Datuk Nazifuddin added that ICUT will also reduce harvester headcount and ideally take the pressure off Malaysian plantations, which are heavily reliant on foreign labour. He said one of King Oya's main tasks is to help plantation companies stay sustainable and provide the correct and safe environment to their employees. Ahead of the launch, the ICUT was tested in several oil palm estates, and the process had involved the participation of harvesters, estate managers and plantation executives to give out feedback to improve the product. Following its commercial launch on Thursday, the first ICUT batch is being manufactured for pre-orders from King Oya's overseas customers such as Indonesia, Ivory Coast and local giants like IOI and Felda. King Oya targets to hit 100 million ringgit sales in 5 years from ICUT and also the company's other suite of products which will be rolled out in stages. Several roads around the Smart Tunnel will be closed from 11 p.m. on Saturday and expected to be reopened for road users at 8 a.m. Sunday in conjunction with the Viper Tunnel Challenge 2018. Syarikat Mengurus Air Banjir dan Terawang Sendirian Berhad, or SMART, in a statement on Thursday said the closure of several roads and entrance to the highway included the entire Jalan Imbi in front of Bajar Times Square, while the opposite lane from Jalan Imbi to Jalan Sultan Ismail will be opened as usual. In addition, the road closure will include the entrance to Jalan Kampung Pandan through the traffic light intersection at Jalan Imbi and Jalan Sultan Ismail, and the entrance to Jalan Kampung Pandan via Jalan Barat. This closure also involves the entrance to Jalan Kampung Pandan via Jalan Cangkat Tambi Dolah and the entrance to Jalan Sultan Ismail from the Kampung Pandan roundabout, vehicles to be diverted to Jalan Davis, while the route in Kampung Pandan roundabout will be opened as usual. The statement said the road closure also involves the entry to the ramp at Jalan Kampung Pandan from Jalan Perkasa heading to Jalan Sultan Ismail. Meanwhile, SMART advised the public to use alternative routes throughout the closure period. For further information, road users can visit the SMART website at www.smarttunnel.com.my or the SMART Tunnel Facebook and Twitter at SMART Tunnel, or contact the free toll line 1300 887 188 for any inquiry. The Viper Tunnel Challenge 2018, which will involve 4,000 participants this Saturday night, is the first such race to be held in the longest dual-function tunnel in Southeast Asia. And moving on to other developments, full support by the government is crucial in order to enact both the Landscape Architecture Act and the Landscape Development Act. This is to elevate the quality of the landscaping sector in Malaysia, including the safety of users. Institute of Landscape Architects Malaysia ILAM Vice President Suhardi Maulan said there is no point in competing in the industry. What is important, he said, is to move together as one in order to realize the importance of the sector in elevating the social and economic status of the country.
We need the support not only for the National Landscape Department or the Kementerian Perumahan dan Kerajaan Tempatan dan Kesejahteraan Bandar. We also need a support from other ministry like KKR, Environmental Ministry, Ministry of Environment, KITA, NRE, right? All this agency and ministry actually involved in the landscape as well.
Speaking to the media at a media roundtable briefing to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Malaysia Landscape Architecture Awards MLAA, he said currently they are in the midst of discussing with the right authorities for the bill. On the annual MLAA, this year's edition sees a steady increase in submission with 165 entries from within Malaysia as well as projects from Singapore. The Gala Awards will be held on April 21st. Ilam also announced that Malaysia will play host to the International Federation of Landscape Architects World Congress 2020 to be held concurrently with the World Landscape Architecture Summit. The event is expected to play a key role in gathering ideas from global players in formulating the new Landscape Architecture Agenda 2050.
Ni Lokman, trendy orangnya. Setahun 5-6 kali tukar telefon. Tunggu, jangan main beli aja ikut nafsu. Pastikan telefon yang hendak dibeli ada label MCMC.
Hello, Bapak. Dah beli phone?
Itulah, kan dah cakap. Beli peralatan komunikasi dan wireless harus pastikan ada label MCMC. Label MCMC menunjukkan peralatan tersebut selamat dan mematuhi standard yang ditetapkan oleh MCMC di setiap peralatan komunikasi dan wireless yang anda beli. Ceklah. Cek tahu. Jangan tak cek. Ada label, anda selamat.
Welcome back to Bernama News. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Najib Tun Razak on Thursday gave assurance that if Barisan Nasional BN wins back Penang in the 14th general election, the next chief minister will be selected from among the leaders of a BN component party other than UMNO. He said BN would stick to its power-sharing principle and would continue to uphold the concept in Penang.
Sebab itulah, sekiranya kita dapat mandat, Ketua Menteri, bakal Ketua Menteri Pulau Pinang ni bukan dari UMNO, tapi dari komponen Parti Barisan Nasional. Ini persefahaman kita. Sebab kita nak berlaku adil dan konsep perkongsian kuasa ini kita akan teruskan.
Speaking at the People's Feast event, Datuk Seri Najib also expressed confidence that there would be a change in favour of BN in Penang, as the Penangites had suffered a lot of problems over the past 2 terms under the opposition-led state government. Datuk Seri Najib, who is also BN chairman, said what was obvious in Penang after 10 years of DAP administration was the worsening flood woes, as flash floods were recorded to have occurred 120 times between 2013 and 2017. Besides, he said the people had been lamenting over difficulties in buying houses as more and more luxury houses were built in the state rather than affordable houses for the people. The Prime Minister also gave assurance that the land reclamation projects in Balik Pulau would be scrapped if BN received the people's mandate in Penang, as the federal government had never agreed to such projects. At the event, Datuk Seri Najib also launched the Village Road Lighting Installation Project under the Rural and Regional Development Ministry and Tenaga Nasional Berhad. And separately, the enforcement of the Anti-Fake News Act gazetted on April 11th is not a strategy for the government to win the 14th general election, but instead a law to protect the people in general. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said, said this was because the law would help remove fake news from social media platforms.
Saya terangkan dalam parlimen bahawa ini adalah undang-undang yang meletakkan keutamaan kepada rakyat. Kerana kita mesti tahu bahawa rakyat yang menjadi mangsa kepada berita palsu perlu mendapat perlindungan. Dan undang-undang ini tidak wujud eksklusif ini, dia ada juga undang-undang seperti Undang-Undang Publication Act, Undang-Undang JMC yang masih boleh berjalan. tertakluk kepada undang-undang mana yang wajar dipakai dalam kes-kes yang tertentu.
Speaking to reporters after launching the groundbreaking ceremony for Pengerang Court Complex project on Thursday, Datuk Seri Azalina said if the law was just a government strategy to face the 14th general election, the power to determine whether the news were true or false would not have been given to the court.
Kenapa perlu diberikan kuasa menentukan berita itu palsu ke tidak kepada mahkamah? Kenapa tidak kerajaan membawa undang-undang dan meletakkan menteri ataupun kerajaan agensi sebagai kata putus tentang berita benar atau tidak?
Under the Act, any person who by any means maliciously creates, offers, publishes, prints, distributes, circulates or disseminates any fake news or publication containing fake news commits an offence and shall, on conviction, be liable to a fine not exceeding 500,000 ringgit or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 years or to both. In another development, the successful implementation of Integrated Water Resources Management (IWRM) will take place only when the Water Resources Act comes into force. Natural Resources and Environment Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar said that once implemented, together with the support and commitment of the state governments, IWRM would ensure uniformity in the country's approach to managing its water resources.
Jadi kita tak ambil alih kuasa negeri pun. Negeri itu sendiri akan mentadbirkan air dia sendiri, tapi template dia sama, kita bagi. Ikut sama. Jadi soalan pemantauan, soalan keuangan, soalan dasar akan diperkenalkan ke seluruh negeri. Jadi kalau ini boleh dilaksanakan dengan sendirinya, kita boleh melaksanakan pengurusan air ini secara sumber air ini secara bersepadu, secara uniform undang-undang dia, dan kita boleh melihat di mana letaknya kelemahan dan sebagainya.
Speaking to the reporters Thursday, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi urged all states to work closely with the federal government before embarking upon the implementation of water resources infrastructure. He said states that have adopted the National Water Restructuring Model would benefit from the support of the federal government in ensuring sufficient water resources through the budgetary provisions. Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi said he hoped that the states which share common basins could address any water resources issue objectively for mutual benefit without politicizing them. Moving on to sports, Malaysia just added 2 gold, 2 silver and 2 bronze to its medal tally in the 2018 Commonwealth Games this morning. Malaysia is now at the 10th position with 5 gold, 5 silver and 9 bronze medals. Nationals lawn bowling squad won the women's pairs event after beating South Africa. Siti Zalina Ahmad Emma Firiana Saroji beat the defending champions Nicoline Neal and Colleen Pickett 15-14. Meanwhile, Koi Siyan contributed 2 silver medals at the Kumera Indoor Sports Centre. The rhythmic gymnast posted 13.400 points for the ball event and 13.850 points in the club's event. Earlier, Amy Kwan Dik Weng clinched the bronze medal in the hoop event with 13.55 points. Meanwhile, in the ribbons event, Malaysia won 2 more medals. Amy clinched the gold medal with 13.200 points and Koi Siyan grabbed the bronze with 12.000 points. And on Thursday, 2 bronze medals were bagged by the Malaysian contingent on the 8th day of the 2018 Commonwealth Games. National gymnast Amy Kwan Dik Wen brought joy to the Malaysian camp with the bronze medal she won in the rhythmic gymnastics individual all-around final. Amy collected 51.500 points after completing the 4 disciplines, namely ball, ribbon, loop and baton. The athletics camp contributed another bronze medal through Muhammad Afiq Muhammad Ali Hanafia in the 100-meter T12 event. In the pools, national divers Ui Te Liang, Ahmad Amsha, Chiu Yewei, Pandalela Rinong, Chong Junhung and Kimberly Bong, however, failed to shine. Speaking in a press conference, Malaysia's chef de mission Huang Yinghao said he is confident the national contingent is still on the right track to achieve the stipulated medal target. In this edition, the Malaysian contingent aimed to finish in the top 10 by winning at least 7 gold medals. And that's all we have for now. To get the latest news updates, do follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Melissa Duis. Thanks for watching Bernama News Channel, where it's all about you.